Hello everyone and welcome to yet another live coding and chill. I'm your host Tony, delighted to be here. Hope you're having an amazing weekend and an excellent, beautiful life. Today, I'm getting back into having time to do my passion projects, and the only time I've taken off work for the past few months has been to take a vacation week, to make a game from for Brackey's game jam. So that's what we'll be covering today, but we'll be talking a little bit as well about web dev, and we'll be even doing some web dev work right at the end. So, massive. I also have a new stream setup, so let me know if you can hear me and everything seems to be working. Here we'll be ironing out the kinks as we go and be ready for a proper, like, big, nice live stream next time as well. But this will be exciting. This is about a game that you can go and click and play yourself. First up, let me remove the lovely background music that we have here for now, because Brackey's every so often, twice a year, they run some 1 week game jams. Tons of excellent games go and get submitted into them. One of them, mine, is the next one. You play and you tell me. There's definitely tons and tons of things that I would have done if I had just an extra week to save things up. Definitely do more with graphics, for example. That would have been quite pleasant, quite nice. I did manage to put some sound effects and music together. In the end, localization, we'll talk about this bug soon. But let's switch to full screen. You can, of course, Easter egg, you can spin the D20 here. The idea of the game is dispatch-like, and by dispatch-like, I don't mean Netflix style anime quality cutscenes and decisions that affect things, but the actual dispatch part of gameplay part of the dispatch game, where quests pop up on the screen and you have to dispatch your heroes in order to take care of them. So the idea is that you try to match the correct heroes to the correct problems to solve. And you can open up and see the bios of its hero that you have in your Curious Company medieval office. And possibly derive that, oh, one of them could be good at fishing, another one hates fishing, so they shouldn't be doing like fish-related tasks. And if they have related likes and dislikes, bonuses and penalties, if they have penalties, you roll with advantage, so you roll 2d20 and take the biggest one. Either one would have worked for this one, and you say sweet, and then you play, and you get some rewards if you beat the result by quite a lot. But yeah, lots of writing went on. Clearly, a web dev designed this this UI. I should have more graphics for this because people love graphics and love to see something. But hey, when you only have 1 week, you gotta be practical and pragmatic. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Whenever you let a quest expire, maybe because you were a bit too ambitious with sending your heroes, or a bit too cautious in sending as many heroes as you could on every quest, at some point you run out on available heroes and you may find that a quest would expire. And then you wouldn't be able to tackle it. And that would mean that the town gets ahead. So now I don't have any available heroes, I'm forced to wait. The crown means that this hero is ready to level up, and I am talking a lot to explain the game because there isn't enough tutorialization in the game by itself. So this live stream may help you enjoy it a bit more. And of course, I'll keep expanding on this game and try to make it like a fun game that you can actually play without needing a live stream to guide you through. But yeah, send your heroes to quests. No matter if they succeed or not, they gain experience, and that experience leads to level ups. When they level up, it means that they gain some sort of reward, which is like either a new tag or a stat boost, a skill boost, something like that, according to the rarity of the reward. I did have to say, if the physics kind of fail and the dice doesn't stick to a face at some point, just take a reading, take the best reading you can, which is what happened here. Some of the quests are themed based on the villain. So the villain of the story is well, maybe you'll need to play to to find out, but is spawning some quests that are related to them. And if you succeed on enough of them, then the investigation meter fills, and when it's full, then the end of level big quest to defeat the villain is available for you. And if you succeed that, then you win the game, and if you fail enough, then you lose the game. That's game over. Nick, hello. Yes, game dev. I think I'll be doing more of that. I was thinking about making my first stream back being on the coming April's 1st, and being like, I'm only gonna be doing game dev now, but I thought that was too cheeky. I'll definitely be trying to combine both web dev and game dev, but especially since I was doing a lot of web dev contract work that was sucking my soul a little bit these months. I really wanted to focus on something that was a bit more fun. It was super exciting to work on this. Creating the D20 that I'll show that I did in Blender was super fun. And I did it programmatically as well, because I can't help myself. Anyway, this is getting like too addicting. So I'll need to stop and let you play further. Another big thing with the game is that these heroes are supposed to be talking animals. Maybe you, the head of the Curious Company, is the only person in the world that Dr. Dolittle style, I guess. This is the first time I've made this connection here live. You are the only person in this fantasy world that can talk to these animals that have special skills. So each one of them has a class that is a pun on their species and Dungeons and Dragons class. So Ember, the boar, is a warlock and boar, get it? We have Krog, which is a crow that is also a rogue, and so on and so forth. This would have been sold much more if I had the time or the skills, I guess, to whip up a quick portrait and show Thorn and Ember and Luna and Vex and how all these cute animals that are actually like fantasy classes heroes, medieval heroes, look like. But I didn't have the time to do that. The other thing you may get on quest is loot, and one of the best items that you can get as a result is something that heals your hero. Every time they fail a quest, they get injured, and if they fail a quest while they're injured, they get KO'd. They don't die, they just get KO'd. Don't worry, everyone is just sleeping. But if you manage to get the senzu bean, then you get them back to full health and you can keep going. If you run out of heroes that are able to be dispatched, unfortunately, you lose. Is the main idea of the game. So yeah, way too many mechanics and way too little information. Although I do have like a whole screen with its own dedicated music, and it's like, here's how to play, enjoy this paragraph. Have fun. But yeah. Let's refresh so I don't have the music playing the whole time. Maybe add the background music here. Just softly. All right, so this is the game. There were quite a few learnings, and as always, the most learnings you get when you play a test. And in the future, if I keep going with this, I am hoping to be able to give like a week's demo or every 2 weeks demo or something like that, and have a build ready for you people to see me play it and maybe have some feedback from me, or even play yourself and let me know in Discord or wherever else that, hey, have you thought about doing this? In this new setup, I know I do have the, still don't know where everything is, the stream setup, but here we go. So the biggest thing is so many features going on in the game. As the designer of the game, the theme of the game jam comes out, which is strange places. And if you think that's interesting, I can walk you through how we got from the strange places idea of the game to this. I guess the basic of it is that you get sent. You are a detective style agency, a hero agency that gets dispatched, that gets sent to tackle some paranormal activity of some sorts into strange places. My initial idea was, oh, every quest, every strange place will have a nice visual showing why that is a strange place, like a big haunted tree, like Sleepy Hollow or whatever, a haunted mansion, a scary cave, like a dragon's hoard. But of course, again, I don't have the artistic ability or the time to do something like that, so I didn't manage to convey that as well. But that's the main idea. You listen to the game jam idea, then you write some ideas down, and this one of dispatching the heroes to the quest, and according to their abilities, they're able to succeed or fail, and then you get like loot or punishments, opportunities, and complications according to how they do. That resonated with me from the beginning. So I really wanted to work on this and maybe over-engineer the mechanics at the sacrifice of visuals, because I am better at mechanics than visuals, because I'm not a 20 years of experience game dev, I'm a 20 years of experience web dev. And like working with the data and rendering the data is easier for me than doing the art and stuff. So with this, all of this being in my head, at some point you need to show it to people, because they don't know what the context of all of this is. They don't know what the context of your game is. They just know they spin it up, they see a play now, they start playing, things pop up, and they don't know what they're doing. So you need that feedback loop for them to tell you what's working and not. I did a little bit of play testing, but it wasn't really enough time, the way I schedule things, to iterate a lot. The first thing I would have done if I had the time, and the first thing I did after the game jam was over, was crank down the difficulty, because every quest has a difficulty class, which in Dungeons and Dragons nerd terms, you roll the dice, you add your bonuses, and if you beat the DC, the difficulty class, if you beat that number, then you succeed. And the way this game is structured, if you beat it by a lot, then you also get an opportunity, an extra perk loot bonus. And if you lose by a lot, then you get a complication, a penalty. So it's important for the quest difficulty classes, the numbers to beat, to be correct. And what I had before was way, way, way too high. I did some statistical analysis of how often I would like people to win to have a successful result in a quest, and the numbers were way, way too high in regards to difficulty classes. Because the idea is, if you send the correct heroes that will have an advantage to a quest, most of the time you should win, like 90% plus, 95% plus chance. If you've played games like XCOM, then you maybe dread the 95% chance to hit, because sometimes, you do miss, and then that bad guy is going to shoot you. But that's part of the fun, like this little randomness does add to the fun of the game. Unpredictability can add to the fun of the game, so long as it feels fair. So I made the correct decision. I sent the correct people to the correct quest. I derived what type of quest it is according to the flavor text, and I know my heroes, so I sent the correct ones to the quest. Most of the time, 90% of the time at least, I should be winning that quest. And that wasn't the case. It was more like, 60%. which is not enough. You should reward your players more. So that's the first thing I changed after the games are more so over. Lower the difficulty classes overall, so you feel like if you play the game correctly, you are actually able to win. And maybe I'll run this locally just to show this again. So every quest has a flavor text, bite mark epidemic, for example, and you send your heroes. You do see the tags of the quest here. I was thinking that it could be a special item, like special goggles or special investigatory magic pencils or something. And only then, when you have them equipped, like Balatro style sockers or something, only then you're able to see the tags of the quest. Because you can also see the tags of your heroes, the traits and the triggers, so the positives and the negatives. So if you see a quest tag that's fishing, then you should send Thorn to that one, because they are great at fishing and they will have an advantage. And once they get to the quest, they travel to the quest, they get there, you have a bit more flavor text, and then 3 options. You could have more programmatically, you could have like an infinite amount, or just 2 or something. And each one has a different tag, a different skill, and potentially a different tag and a different difficulty class. So the idea is that there will be like a peaceful solution, or a more destructive solution, a sociopathic solution. You're a hero, so it's never going to be like that. But maybe a more renegade style versus pacifist option there. And an example of one of the quests would be, there is a dragon pestering people. If you choose to fight the dragon, then even if you have your best fighter there, who is good at fighting and strength, the DC should be super big because it's a dragon, so they will likely fail. But if you try to negotiate and persuade the dragon, maybe that's a lower DC, but still high because it's a dragon. If you try to sneak around and get the item that the quest wants, maybe that's the easiest option of the 3. So if you send your stealth person and pick the stealth option, that's the easiest way to guarantee the success. And question in the chat by Nick: how many hours did I spend overall on this jam over the week? And how familiar was I with Godot and Blender before this project? So I went full on from Sunday Sunday morning. I read the theme, and then I played beach volleyball with friends. And on the way there and back, I was thinking, this is the theme. What could we do with this? And then spent all of that day ideating on potential gameplay loops and other ideas for the game. Monday morning, I slept on it with my top ideas and started strategizing that, this is gonna be probably the game play loop, and sacrifice that day to see if I can do that in Godot. Then maybe I had my notes somewhere because I had planned out what my plan of attack would have been for the week. But I think Tuesday was commit to doing that gameplay loop. Wednesday, a full game loop. So I just triggered that loop many times. The main gameplay loop, of course, is quest pops up, you click the quest, and success or failure happens. And the whole game loop, as it stands now, is this keeps happening until every hero is knocked out. And then by the end of the week, I did add this investigation meter here, where some quests fill the investigation. If the investigation meter is full, then the final boss quest pops up, and you can beat the game. My initial idea would have also been that this is like the town level map. I guess this is why I named this town. But then you'd go to the next stage if you manage to succeed, and then you have like a city level castle map with a bigger surface area, more grandiose quests, and then go to the final level of the game, which would be like the whole region is in peril, or you're handling things that affect the whole region. So even bigger stakes at the end. But I realistically, day by day, seeing how much I was able to do, I needed to scope and just do the single town. And given I didn't even do like real character portraits, uh, I'm not sure if I was successful enough, and I should have stopped before. Every day, I don't know how many hours I was dedicating per day, because it is the type of work that I get into the zone and just work. I guess 8 hours, but not straight on. You know, like get in the zone for like a couple hours, then get hungry, and then eat and think, and then go back and do some more. But yeah, I'd say it was full time job from Sunday to, I'd say, Friday evening. Then Saturday, I created the build and uploaded to it's maybe like a couple fine tuning there, but I wouldn't say that the game progressed a lot from that point till the submission. So yeah, I'd say, let's say, 40 hours of work to do this. Or maybe a better way to say this, like 5 work days, because I don't really know how many hours were work. I definitely know that they felt like 5 work days. And my experience with Blender, I have used it before. I've never done a commercial project in any game engine. And I've used Godot for a couple game jams before, which you can see, I suppose. Hopefully, if we can get better, Adam. So the last one I did for Minmax, that was a month-long game jam. And I built this one in Godot, used a tile map I bought. Maybe you can see some similarities. And the idea for this is that you pick up ice creams while not getting hit by the ghosts. I intentionally made the physics quite slidey for this. And not music. And the idea for this one is that you go and you serve this ice cream to the dates, and every time you do a delivery, then you get to increase your speed if you have enough money, increase your stamina, your health, and continue on until it's game over. So I don't know how you should classify this. Godot beginner. It's mostly coding, I suppose, like setting up zones to pick up items and trigger menus and stuff. So with code, I am very experienced. With particular game engine stuff, not experienced at all. Oh, thank you. I really like this one. Feel free to try it and let me know. So even though I definitely worked much more on Curious Company, and I can see the potential to turn this into like a proper game, like a full game. This one is more fun to play because of the like sliding mechanics. Like if you get hit, there is some game juice. In my plan, I remember that I had like a day planned for game juice, which unfortunately didn't manage for Curious Company, the other game. Well, this one, I do think that it adds a lot, just the little hits. Quite fun. Just quit crash Chrome. I think usually you wouldn't add a quit in the web dev export. Anyway, Blender, very little experience. Like I've started up quite a few times, but I don't think I've ever created anything that I've used anywhere. Just followed a few tutorials, like 15 years ago or whatever, and things have changed so much. And I'm trying to do more now. And what I managed to do, maybe I'll show that. Let's move into this one. Because that's kind of fun. So, in Blender, I designed the dice, and of course, I looked up a tutorial and was like, how do you do a D20 dice? Maybe I have to open Blender now. And the tutorial was quite easy because you just delete the default cube as always and you add a mess. And it's like, oh, the icosphere. Ico is Greek, it's ikosi. It means 20-sided sphere. So if you have only one subdivision, so none, this is going to be a 20-sided dice. And then you can play with beveling and stuff and make the dice that you want. I'm like, great, that's amazing. But if it's so simple, shouldn't there be code for this? And if it's so simple, shouldn't I be creating the other dice as well? Nick says you've only done the donut tutorial. I've started the donut tutorial, classic example, but I didn't finish it. Maybe I started it last year, so one of the latest versions. But it's alright, it passes to at least start the donut tutorial. Well done if you did finish it, or even if you went farther into it than I. But anyway, like as a programmer, I'm like every time I want to tweak a parameter with this, if I want to make all the dice like work the same, shouldn't there be code to achieve this? And the answer is yes. The answer is there absolutely could be code for this. So what did I do? Create dice. This one. So eventually, I ended up with a script you can paste into Blender, and then it will create a whole set of dice. And it's easy for the solid. What are they called? They have like a special name. I was looking into them. For the n-sided die that have an amount of faces that have faces that are all equal to each other. Is it? It's some solids. It's not Newtonian solids. Is it Platonic solids? Not sure. But for those dice that have faces that are equal to each other, it's easier to do if you can use the icosphere to do that. It's also easier to do. But there are some edge cases. What do you do for the D10, I think, was a tough one. Anyway, instead of going in Blender and doing it the probably easy way for people who know how to do Blender, I went into the script and kept tweaking the script in order to create this in the end. All these dice that I'd never used. And you can see that getting... The problem with the D4 is that it has a different way of showing the faces because you read the top. The pyramid stands down and then you read the number at the top of the pyramids, which is different to every other dice where you just see the face that it's landed on from the top. You do bird's eye view it and you see the number that's printed on there. D4 is a bit different. I managed in the end, but you know, at some point I was like, I need to make the game. Was also like, well, the D10 is a bit too tall, so and the D100, which is like a D10 with different numbers. They're a bit too tall, so I make them like smaller. It's like, whatever, just move on with your life and finish the game. But I'm particularly happy with how the D12 came about. Yeah, classic software engineer. It's like, I don't want to use my hands to do the bevels. Can I have code to do this again and again every time I change my mind? Another idea with this is that I did assign different material slots for the edges and the faces and the numbers. So in theory, maybe each different hero would have their own set of dice, and then you can also identify which hero was the one rolling that taking the lead for the quest. Or for fun, in your settings, you could have like a theme, or you could have like premium dice or whatever, style your own dice. That was something that I was thinking of. From TikTok, I did see a cool pool game that is doing a similar trick where the pool balls, what are they called? It's not the cues. Is the cues? Not sure. So the balls of the pool, they are 3D objects, but for performance, they project them in 2D. And that's what I did for the dice rolling mechanic here in Godot. So I've used the Godot before. I do read the blogs. I haven't done much in it, but I think I know enough to understand what could be possible and then look up things enough to find like a tutorial or an example or something that does kind of like what I want to do and then figure it out from there. And it's one of the reasons I really love Godot, even though I am thinking of Unreal Engine for the next project or taking this project further. That's because Unreal Engine does have the smart materials integration with Substance Designer. And I'm really interested in procedural materials and terrains, especially for this, because my final goal for this is instead of having like a town like this, it should be a procedural town, and the farm and the houses and the wells and the taverns and whatnot, the dragon's lairs, they pop up like mushrooms. And according to what's popped up in your town, then different quests pop up, which is not the case in this current version of the game. In this current version of the game, you start the level, it has a pool of quests, and that's it. So in my head's version of the game, you start the level, it procedurally puts in an amount of houses and taverns and farms and whatnot, and these have a chance to have some quests to put in the pool to pop up. And according to whether a quest succeeds or not, then maybe the haunted house is not haunted anymore, so it may have no more quests or a different type of quest, or a farm has been raised by the dragon, and then that leads to other complications. And it says, with 5 days, you have to make decisions to avoid scope creep. Yes, for sure, 100%. Like at all times, with any game jam and with any project, I'd say, there is, when you're not working on the project and you're just thinking about it, you're like, is there even a point to this if I can't do like everything? If I can't code what's in my head, should I really keep going with this? What's the point? And I think that's when you need the stamina and the resolution to say, no, I will keep going with this. I just need to realistically say, I can't do this for now, I can't do this, I can't do this, but I can do this, which will result in something that people can play and give a chance and not get too frustrated with. So yeah, I think that's the biggest skill. And maybe an advantage from me doing web dev, even though I haven't done game dev, that I have managed to to experience scope creep. So I know that danger. But yeah, and cutting out fluff is especially needed. So it's as it stands, each hero has stats, classic D&D style stats, but they also have skills, and the skills get boosted by the stats, but can also have ranks, so they can extend even further than just a stat bonus. But like too much, like you open a quest and it's like too many, too much intel, too much information there. So I'd say maybe with an extra week, I would take my build from Saturday and say, how can I simplify this even further? So no more scope, no other new features added. What can I remove? And what can I make nicer? So the character portraits would have been nice. Like some juice with the quests when they succeed, maybe they, like a coin, get tossed around and they go into your high score or something. If you fail, they break apart devastatingly. Some things like that. So 1 week of no more features, simplify if you can and remove code, and what is there, make it snappier, make it juicier. I think that would have been excellent. Other people that are familiar with game jams, sometimes they go into like Game Maker's Toolkit 3-day game jam or 4-day or 2-day or whatever, and they bring out a game that's absolutely amazing. That can't be me. I think like 2 weeks minimum for something that's more pleasant is my current skill level. But one of the reasons that I love Godot is that it is so snappy on any machine, even on my Mac. It runs so well, you can start it, reboot it, just edit the code. No compilation step, it's there. You can try it on the fly. It's very, very good for fast iteration. And thanks for the question. Let me know more. What else? So learnings, I guess I kind of talked about this, the visual appeal and the tutorialization. Too much information on the game and too many things in my head that are not really communicated to the player. If there is a screen that says how to play, no one's going to click it. If it has too much, no one is going to read it. So that doesn't count. It would need that tutorialization step of one quest pops up, someone says, hey, let's go there and let's, sort this thing out. And it kind of teaches you how to slot the heroes in and blah, blah, blah. And in order for people to keep wanting to do this, besides being like stat sheet nerds and stuff, would be better rewards, visual rewards, like visual appeal rewards when they succeed. You slot the hero, they're ready to fight, you see them succeed and win and open a chest and get loot. I think that would have been, would have gone a long way into people understanding these too many systems of the game. So fewer systems and really highlight how they affect the game would have been great here. And another, I think, cool thing that I did before, I was like experimenting with a new version of Godot. And Godot has two ways to do localization. It's either with the .pot format, which is more professional, but you can also do it with just CSVs. And you'll see that even though I only had a week, because I kind of had this mostly ready, this is available to multiple languages, including Greek. But what I found out is that even though the Godot editor will fall back to a font that you have, I guess, if the characters are not there. So Greek has a special Greek alphabet, and that's why in the dropdown you cannot see it. And when I switch to Greek, I do load a special font to actually render the characters even on the web build. But when you're in English and you're using the font with the Latin characters, then you cannot read Greek. So that's something to watch out for that I had to find out. But in the title screen, you'll see Godot now does have a preview translation thing. Let me refresh this to stop the music. So Godot has this preview translation thing, and you can preview Greek. And even though before I hadn't set up a special Greek font, a special font for the Greek language which has the Greek characters, Godot was rendering it correctly here. And when I zipped, it was like, oh no, it doesn't actually render it. And then I did the fix to actually bundle in a change into a font with the Greek characters. But when you are in English and you go to the dropdown and you see the Greek option, you still need to load the font just for this dropdown. Hopefully that makes sense. And I did go for the easier CSV method for the translations versus the industry standard.pot because I just found it easier. And I think this is easy to just, or easier, to just load even in Visual Studio Code and be able to see, oh, what do I have here? Not this. I did the hero data in a CSV format as well. I'm not sure about this. Maybe I will have like JSON or something. But for the localization stuff, you can see I have the key, and then you have like the English version, the Spanish version, and the Greek version. And you can just open them in VS Code and edit it quickly. Or you can upload it in like Google Sheets or something like that. And a friend can help you out with the localization there. So I think that's a big advantage with CSV, that you don't need a special program to open it up and do collaboration stuff. It has some limitations. It was a bit tricky to set up that each language may have different plural rules, and if something is a plural sentence or a sentence that needs plural, how do you define the versions of when the amount is 1 versus when the amount is 2, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't want to get too lost in the sauce in this, but I am proud that I've added localization support for this little game, even though I had just a few days to do this. And I think, plunk, plunk, plunk. What else do we have here? I have links in the description to my game, but of course to the winners of Brackey's games as well. I do suggest just going into submissions and seeing, like, see a few random submissions there and play them. If you don't want to download anything, you can even filter for like browser games, and then you go there and then you play it, and then you leave a comment, and then you make that person happy. I know I was delighted for every comment that I had, and I made sure to play a few games and leave a comment as well. Some of the games, but I think every single game that I played was amazing. Like, I'm amazed how much people are able to do in like 1 week. Some of them were more standard, follow, like, gather this thing platformer, like I guess the other game that I also made and sold, which took me a month. But some of them, especially creative, one of them that I played was like a full-fledged deck building, not roguelike, but you can see how it could expand as a roguelike. But having the ability within a week to do a great art style that they had, card art, very pretty, define a few different card synergies and strategies for a game like that. That was amazing. Question is it possible to build a game in Godot, but then build the UI elements in the Svelte or SvelteKit or something else? I haven't looked into this. I wouldn't be surprised if React especially, they have like a lot of bridges for many other game engines. So if there's going to be anything, it's going to be React into Godot. Let's search it live. However, seven years ago, it's not something likely. I do think if you are familiar with Svelte or Godot, if you're familiar with Svelte or React or any of the more modern UI frameworks, you would be able to get around with the native Godot stuff, because it is that component-driven approach where you keep nesting things into other things. And if you have a custom case, then you define this custom component. It's a class here in Godot, but it's a component in Svelte and React land. And then you render it within another component. And for how many heroes you have, you render this component. You map through your list of heroes and you render the hero card component. So I wouldn't go, even if there was like an official Svelte plugin or a React plugin, I wouldn't go through the trouble, because I do think the way Godot does UI is similar in concept, that you should just get to grips with how Godot is doing it and then natively do it in Godot, and you'll have a better time previewing anything. And I've heard other developers complain about this in general in game engines, that the way the popular game engines is having you do UI is very front-end development, like web dev centric. It's like the approach to web dev, and they don't like it, but I love it because I understand it well. So yeah, at least in Godot, I can attest to that. I do think that it's very similar in concept to how you do it in React or Svelte. So I would just rather do them here, even though I would like to be able to share components from SvelteKit to this. If I were to make a roguelike deck builder or something, I was thinking that I could have the web app be Svelte and SvelteKit, and you can see the cards and even vote the cards you like, or raise an issue with a card that you think is broken and visualize it. Maybe suggest and upload your own card in the Svelte app. And then if I like it with a similar dataset, then you just render it into the game. And of course, in that point, if I could maintain the one component, which is like which would work in the SvelteKit app and the Godot game build. Why not do that? But it's a bit too much. The bridge to make that happen would be too much work. I think more work than just remake this component in Godot. Yeah, I think I remember Unreal Engine having like React as a plugin or something. That's why I mentioned it, but I'm not sure. And I think that's pretty much it. We're going to Svelte soon enough. And next steps for this. So I'm coming to the end of a contract that has been eating up my time quite a lot. But now I feel empowered to do more projects, and it's not just gonna be game dev. I'm still very interested in web dev and the integration between web and the game. So I'm very interested into this concept where you have the website of the game and you can see all the cards if it's a deck builder, or in this case, in the case of this game, you can see all the quests, or you can suggest your own quest, and that has some integration, so an approved quest can make it into the game. I'm quite fascinated by this, so I'll always be looking into web dev as well. But my core idea is to try to code hard for like 3 months and submit a proper game demo for the next Steam Next Fest, which should be in the summer, probably in June. So I'm thinking of taking this idea almost certainly as much as I can and have a demo out for them. But I do think I will try to do it in Unreal Engine because, well, one of the things is that I always loved big RPGs and action games. So pretty much the reason I can speak English now is because I wanted to play Final Fantasy 6, which I knew as 3 back then, without my dad being there to like read what people are saying. So I would love to make a more involved game like that that does have a lot of cinematics, like Clair Obscur nowadays. Expedition 33 is a similarly inspirational game, and those games are easier to do, like 3D heavy, animation heavy, cinematics heavy. They are easier to do with Unreal Engine, so I would like to test out to see, can I do this here? Because they are possible to do in Godot. They would be easier for me to do in Godot because Godot runs so much fast in my machine, and it's a bit more hands-on coding heavy, while Unreal seems to be a bit more like tweak the parameters in like a visual scripting language and stuff, which I'm not good at. But I want to give it a try and do my best and see what I can have ready for June. I did consider Unity. Nick says Unity. You think Unity has CSS-like styling language, which it seems like tons of super successful games are using Unity as well. And would it give me an advantage in styling if I go to CSS? Probably. But Slay the Spire 2 came out, and that's made in Godot, and I think that looks amazing. But it is like more 2D-esque, I guess, 2D looking-esque. And they have amazing art, which I will not. So can I do like low poly 3D enough to make this work? We'll find out. And before showing the Unreal Engine demo, maybe let's just switch back into this. I am keeping tabs with Svelte and SvelteKit. I have been experimenting around with it as always. I have like a little website that you can visit that I'm planning to list like the games I'm working on, and it is still Svelte and SvelteKit. I have been trying the Vite class, which seems to be like the thing that people are talking about now. Vite is like a bundler, and now Vite Plus is a tooling chain that will format your code and link your code and manage your node environments and stuff. And I will have thoughts on this potentially in the next stream, depending on any suggestions you have on what you want to work on. But I was thinking just in this Svelte website, I could just add a games link in the navbar, which gets you into the game here. So let's do that. Right in the navbar, maybe I would just say inventory here. And here have an unordered list. Call these games. And maybe these two are gonna be the monospace font. And this is the games route. Look. And what's the games route though? Let's copy the privacy policy one. I'll copy this page. And call it games. Am I passing the main page, the home page? Seems like I am. And what do I say? Whatever. You can play right now in the browser. All right, and this page. Let's get to this page. Plonk. And maybe on the server side we have game station, which is gonna be ID. Which company? Name is Garage Company, correct? Description. What did I put for the description in the 8 spades? Horn the Munkety. And what else? That's Game Jam. This but's like, who knows? And I want the server to return this games array. Do I have a station builder? Maybe. And then I would want the page to render this. Let's see. Teams, of course, is going to be on the data from the server. Svelte, haven't done it in a while. No JSON here. What I want. Data. page store. Page store. Sorry, page state data games. All right, we got it here. Sweet. We don't need any of that. Let's create a game. Svelte. And this will say the panel. And what we're actually gonna do here is magic dollar. It's indeed creates other games. Game panel. This is old Svelte. But yeah, pass the game around. Guess this is saying that there's a game here. Index with game ID. Should be fine. No commander. Parentheses. Commander members. Cool. And the games panel is this. And like script flag, I guess. Good. Pass the game around. Happy enough. All right, here it is. Just restart the server just in case. Paid data games as game ID. What's the problem? This should be an array, right? Ah, it's not an array, of course. Now it's an array. Okay. Cool. It's like the threat of console log. It makes you get it. Okay. So let's see. I think that's it for the fundamentals. I could style it nicely, but let's see what Tailwind Plus has to offer. We did have to let quite a few people go, so let's give them our support in these LLM trouble times. There is this panel I kind of like. This one. So if I just use this here, what happens? Amazing. Cool. What's the screenshot gonna be? what are the icons going to be? Who knows? But this is definitely a job for an LLM. Right. So fully game panel. Turn it into a sensible Svelte component. And what else do we want to say? Here. Highlights. Icon. And the text. It's management. It's not high octane. The thoughtful. It should be an area as well. Okay. So let's see. The LLM will as we wrap things up for today. We made it over an hour. Happy for one stream back. Meanwhile, do I have anything important in Finder? I think cumulative recaps. So all I have in Unity is this. So you can see the little houses. And the tokens now, the quest markers, pop up like this. And the cast shadows, the word, which will be more like board game style. I have advanced a bit from that. And I'll run it as a final demo there. And yeah, I think I'll commit to this style, even though it will take me ages. Have a bit of time to do it. Let's see, it's never enough time. And oh no, it's spiraling. Figure it out. Looks exactly like that. Should have a link as well. What does the design say? That's the feature, so it doesn't have like a call to action. It's kind of makes sense. Link should be this. It's probably like CTA call to action. Href. Oh, whoops. Claude was also working on this. Cute. So there should be an image as well. As we said, reveal in Finder here. Am I using enhanced image already? So what does Claude claim it did? The types are exported. Ugh. Script module. Ugh. Props takes a single game. Sure. Styling. Blah blah blah. Okay. So it's exporting the types from here, which is quite nuts. But hey. It's not JPEG enhanced. So the game's here. So you may be familiar with my poor man's dependency injection. That's the thing I want to enforce here. In lib, I want the repos. Are we still here? We may still be here. Had a big flicker going on. It's not meant to see that, Nick, you're thank you so much for participating in the chat. Your lovely questions. Let's hear around next time. This thing, what happened? This help? Maybe. Who knows? I can't hear anything. Hopefully you can hear enough. The threat of running Unreal Engine was too much. So I'm doing my pool man's dependency injection here. And I want this to return promise of twins. And here, instead of this section, maybe I actually just want this. And this should implement that. Great. All of the work. Let's see. Let's get the LLM to do something. having the panels, the types in game panel. It still doesn't show, but we're almost done. And so for dependency injection, what do? I have like this hooks file, which has a not handle, it says nothing, block handle, preload handle, and I want a dependency injection handle. So right here. Spell it correctly, important. Boom. And in here, I guess the implementation should take care of it. And in the hooks, I do want to add the dependency injection handle. Did I name it like that? Probably not. Here. I wanted my definitions to say in the locals, we also have a key. This is actually, we can just say that it's the in-memory. I wonder if I don't need this anymore for view transitions. Maybe yes. To view model, game view model. What? Oh, great. You got my mistake. I exported this, so that's what I wanted to do. You're right. Oh, wait a minute. I can see that my Mac Studio display is frozen, has been frozen all this time. That's a bit of a problem. We'll turn it off and back on again, fix it. Okay, so sorry you weren't seeing me do all of my poor man's dependency index and stuff. But I also like calling this. This makes it protected by default. So just exposing the constructor like this defaulted to what you give it there? Ah, no, it's just the first parameter. So yeah, I like this better. Cool. So you can see that the image is rendered behind the panel there. Not quite what we want. Really 48 lines? The answer is yes. And that's why the music stopped as well. Oh, interesting. Nothing like the design. So it's at the point where it's just making stuff up, and we may be better off just doing it ourselves. I also would like the tags to be right underneath the header here, and the call to action to be here. Alone. Here's the image here. Just say product screenshot, so that's how it got the bad practice from there. Huge width and height. Okay, let's look at it with our eyeballs and see what it's actually doing. So it's, I see. So on smaller designs, it makes it float. It doesn't have this breaking point. It just makes it float in between. very unlike this. And in smaller ones, it's the image that breaks it apart. Sure. Okay. Kim view model. What? Okay, this will always have a CTA, so I'm gonna grab it ifs. H2. Who has claimed that this doesn't have? It will also module section. Yeah, I guess I just want to have this stacking effect in the end and call it a day, call it a stream. In the meantime, feel free to let me know what you'd like to see me cover next. An idea is, like, if we have this adventure games hub, we could have a dedicated page for each game with, you know, loads of screenshots. And that would be neat. Code is working. And something that I've seen and we haven't shown before is that we could have an auth API deployed to like auth.adventure games. And that's something that every other app in the adventure games universe uses, whether it's a mobile app about Curious Company or a multiplayer game itself, like, you know, the Epic Games login version, but for us, like the Ubisoft login, like the one place that you use for app, so I don't have to set up auth for its project every time. But besides my needs for this can be common because lots of products that you're building, what's in the stream, would be that you have a web app and a mobile app. And in that case, you would need a dedicated server to handle the authentication. You wouldn't need to, but it would be common to do it like that. So the responsibility of the auth is just this one server that gives you back a JWT. But we can elaborate on this in the future. I was thinking it's a cool subject that we haven't shown before, even though we've shown quite a bit about auth. All right, let's see. that even work? Or are there like other places? Okay, good. Oh, we haven't clicked to go there. It's weird. Games. Is there really an H1 that says games here? I find that hard to believe. Hmm. Where is the browser? Who knows? No one knows. Ah, interesting. So yeah, we're loading this on the server and sending it to the front end. Because maybe at some point we'll have this in a database, not included in here. Maybe just unnecessary complication. But that's one of the reasons where my if we try to load this page straight, oh, fixed already. It was crashing, but if you try to navigate to it, it was fine because client side it managed to do it. Or I guess the app was interactive. It knows what the top level would be, but then it would crash to enter this part. Good. So I guess it is trying to stack it on the right, but it's not quite working. This part is fine. Let's see, can we figure it out before the computer? So it goes into a separate row, but it wants something else. We want it to be like here on the side, right? So let's see. Is there like Excel? More padding for Excel. Who knows why? SM. For SM, there is quite a few things. Yes, this is the same. Let's tell it. display methods first. So this looks fine, but I think it has like some crazy classes that we don't need. I want to manually change where the classes, where the tags are, and just have the call to action here. And on the LG plus, the LG plus breakpoint, we just want this to be on the side. So we want to have a 2-column layout, I suppose. Right, so like this. And this shouldn't show. Or this should show, correct. Okay. Nice. Done. So here, Y margin. Gap here. One. But it's not flex, so it's going to do nothing. All right, and this divider is the problem. Is it a border? Oh yeah, it's a border. It's a border. Do this. Good. Wow, huge. And did this do anything? Accidentally, I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, so I think we're pretty good. Let's see, light mode 2. It's not a panel. Does it look like a panel in the design? Oh, the panel is always dark. That's what I like to see. So wait a minute. If I put this in like a... You know what? Spades. Spades. Spelled file. Uh, oof. Nailed it. Some say I may have nailed it. So if I just call this perfect. So no matter the mode you're on, this is gonna be, it's gonna be dark whether you want it or not. Great. And we have the puzzle icon here. This one. But we actually want to say, micromanage your team. Whoa. If it's the same text, then it flips out. Interesting. Okay, so what could we have? Obviously, we want this image to be here. And we want some cute icons. Do we have a dragon? Fight. I don't want to search the category. This always gets me. I don't want to search the category. I want to search the icons, obviously. So how do I do that? All. Dragonfly. Game icons. Didn't want to download this. And plugin icons. Yes. Upskill. So do we have like train up? Great. And quest. Does it have like an exclamation mark? Cool. Looks like this. Looks fine to me. So I think this means we can commit and move on with our lives. Don't like the idea of escaping this, but hey. This could be markdown in the future. All right, let's begin. Works. Anything else? So its solution was to make this run only on the client, I guess. Let's double check what it did. I guess we should have like a serializer, but whatever, good enough. Ship it. Eventually it should make it here. And we're into... Okay, so we're into the final demo section. We could solo the game again, run in Godot. most important thing, you can actually spin the 3D dice, 3D die that gets rendered into a 2D viewport. You dispatch your heroes, you try to match up the heroes according to the flavor text you get for each quest. Some heroes are better at some quests, and they do poorly at others. And then you roll, you have a plus modifier according to how good the heroes are in their relevant skill, and you may roll with advantage or disadvantage according to whether we're encountering a risky for them situation according to their tags or not. So each hero has like some traits and triggers. If you send them into a triggering quest, like if they have arachnophobia and you send them to slay the spider, you may be rolling with disadvantage and it will probably go poorly. And yeah, try to see if you can finish the game. If you do enough of the themed quests that the villain is spawning, then a special quest will pop up. And if you beat that one, you beat the game. We also have, so now let me, if my computer crashes again, it is gonna be because I'm trying to run Unreal Engine now. I am considering Unreal Engine for bringing this project forward. And it's because of how it works with substance designers, smart materials and stuff. I would love for the town to be more procedural. And then if you have a forest, it can become a haunted forest, and then it looks spookier and whatnot. Like my go-to example for this is haunted, because it's the easiest, I guess, in my head to say, oh, you have in your head the image of a forest. And surely you have like a Halloween style haunted forest as well. So to procedurally do that with substance designer, it's a bit easier. Oh, this was working before, not working now. Okay, so that's why I left it for just in case this works. But what else? We also worked into our web site and venture games. Now we have a game section already deployed, which shows the one game that we have, the Curious Company from the Game Jam. So you can play in your browser. You should try and let me know what you think. Does this have potential? I like the idea of I have a set of heroes and I need to slot them into the right quests for them to gain experience and still keep saving the town, and then keep escalating as the threats become bigger and you need to handle a bigger and bigger surface area of the kingdom, and you'll potentially have more heroes you can recruit. You could even turn this into a more like run-based roguelike, dare I say, game where at the start of the run you get to pick one or two heroes, and your run may be quite different according to what type of hero you get to begin with. But yeah, I think this is much it. This is pretty much it. Thank you so much for having me back. Yeah, my stream setup is a bit different now, so let me know if you could hear me all right, if everything went well. There was that scary lights out moment 5 minutes into 5 minutes within the stream. I'll need to look into that one. Hopefully it wasn't weird. But that's all. Let me know what you'd like to see me cover next. I mentioned web dev stuff as well, which will keep going. I think it's likely we'll be talking about Vite Plus in the next live coding and chill. Talk about that, how it handles monoribos, libraries, and stuff like that. And what's the modern tooling I've been using in 2026, because I haven't streamed for a while. A lot of things are the same, some are slightly different. So I use a combination for formatting. Besides my beloved Prettier, I now have been trying Ox format, because Oxlint is amazing and very fast, much better than ESLint. And Ox format is very fast and about as good as Prettier, which has been excellent. All right, so thanks a bunch for watching. Let me know what you'd like to see me cover next. And most of all, have a lovely week coming up. See you around.